Right, we do not have, wait, let me make sure we're recording. Yeah. Good reminder, this is the only week that we will not have lab. Well, this, of course, Thanksgiving week, because we won't be here for that, and finals week. So yes, good question. We will not meet for lab today. One of your classmates has already started looking at labs, which is awesome, and they need help figuring out how to turn in the pre-lab versus the lab and all that. So I'm gonna meet them tomorrow at 10. And then if they let me, I'll record it, that meeting, and then I can share that video for anybody who needs help. Of course, obviously too, if you need help, you don't have to watch a video. You can come to me like they did, and I can also show you, but just let me know. I would at least take a look at it, because remember, it's due Friday. The pre-lab is due Friday. So it would be good to take a look at it before then. I might take the weekend off and not look at my emails. So if you wait until Friday night to turn it in and then you need help, and then you send me an email, I might not see it until Monday, which wouldn't be good. Excuse me. All right. Since I'm recording, might as well show you guys where to get the PowerPoints, because I need to get the PowerPoint and download it. Share my screen. Okay. So if you've never used WVSU Online, you want to pay attention to this. So you go to the home page for West Virginia State. Up here, top right, it's My Online. You click that. Whatever your login is for my state or your email address, it's the same login for my WVSU Online. So I'm going to log into that. All right, let's try this again. Hopefully it won't be so problematic for you. There we go. Then you go to the course. That's the course. You can just scroll down to Module 1. There we go. There's the first PowerPoint, Chapter 1. Click on it. Methods. You should need it. If you'd like to study the PowerPoints, you do have access to them. Let's see. Download a copy. And while I have it up here, I might as well show you this. If you keep scrolling down a little bit more, that's where you'll find the labs. You click on that. It will take you, you'll see a link that'll take you to the lab worksheet. You click on that and it pulls it up. And this is basically what I'm going to show that person that I'm going to meet tomorrow at 10, but I'm going to do it much slower. Kind of rushing through this right now because it's 8. Anyway, there's the lab, right? So as you can read here, this is the master copy, right? So you don't have a copy. You cannot write on this copy. This is not your copy. This is the master copy. So you go here, file, make a copy, make yourself a copy. Make sure you click right here where it says copy the comments and suggestions. Anyway, that's how you do it. And I will cover that tomorrow with the other person. Anyway, we'll pull this PowerPoint up, finish roll, and then we get started. Here we go. Aki. It's Aki here. Last name Aki. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. A-K-I-H. Not here? Okay. Velo. V-E-L-O. Not here. Blount. B-L-O-U-N-T, last name. Not here. Boggs is here. Bonner's here. Clay is here. Clayton. We have a Clayton here. Clayton is not here. Dawson. Here. Dawson is here. Ellis. Ellis is here. Paul is here. Green is here. Harrison's here. Henson is here, James is here, Kesterson is here, King is here. Lewis is here, wearing WVSU gear. A little bit of extra credit there. WVSU Wednesday. Linda Q is here. There, you were sitting there last time, right? Yeah. Sure. I'm not losing my mind. And wearing a WVSU hat. Okay, extra credit. Morrison. Morrison's not here. First name Grace. Grace is not here. Rice is here. Ward is here. Wilcox is here. Wilder is here. Who did I not call? Last name? Oh, Nate, that's right. Once again, I need to get you added. If you don't mind, send me an email like guys. Anybody else I didn't call? I'm missing a lot of people today. Hope I didn't scare you guys off on Monday. All right, so a reminder again, some people came in after this great question was asked. We will not be meeting for lab today. This is the 1 week we will not be meeting for lab. I'm recording these. I'm recording this lecture as always. Well, not always. It doesn't always work. I always try to record these. So if you're watching this online, or if you're watching the video, you're going to need to send me some attendance words. I'll let you guys decide. Since you're right here, what should the first attendance word be? Just any random word.
Tree.
Tree. Tree is the first attendance word. So again, if you're watching this online or video, send me that attendance word at the end so I know that you were present. And for the rest of you, you can send out those attendance words at the end as well for a little bit more extra credit. What else? Any questions? Remember, your first assignment was to read the syllabus. I have reason to believe most people haven't. Once you read the syllabus, you'll know why. I know most people haven't read the syllabus, but anyway, please read the syllabus, but let's assume everybody did read the syllabus. Does anybody have any questions about the syllabus before we jump into the coursework? Any questions about how things work? Okay, let's jump into it. Chapter 1. This is my least favorite chapter. This is the introduction, right? So this is basically saying, all right, here's what biology is, here's what science is, and here's basically what we're going to be covering for the rest of the semester. So it really is an introduction. As far as I'm concerned, it's not that important as far as the grades, the exams are concerned. There's going to be very few questions about this on the exam, and I'll let you know, generally speaking, what will be on the exam as we get there. So let's jump into it. So this picture is from your old textbook, not the textbook that you have, but I like the old textbook because at the beginning of every chapter, they talked about why that chapter is relevant to everyday life, not just biologists, right? So in this this chapter, since it's all about biology in general, therefore that old textbook, started the chapter by saying, why does biology matter, right? So later we'll ask, why does chemistry matter? Why does genetics matter? Things like that. But right now the question is, why does biology matter? So might as well have this little guessing game. Can anybody tell me what that is? A bird, perfect, right? Do you know what kind of bird? Whoever said bird? No, does anybody know what kind of bird? I'm a biologist, and I don't know what kind of bird that is. But we all know it's a bird, right? Because of something called taxonomy, right? We, as humans, categorize living things. And there's just certain things about certain living things that help us put them into categories. We'll talk a lot about that later in the semester. But the idea here is we all knew that was a bird. No one apparently knows what kind of bird that is. You've probably never seen that bird before. I hadn't either until I got that textbook. But I knew it was a bird. We all know it was a bird, right? So that's part of biology. We'll talk about that later. Can anybody guess? This one's a little bit harder, especially with it being so fuzzy. Can anybody guess what that thing is? It is. It's the Mars rover. Among other things, that thing is looking for water. Why would it be looking for water? Why do you think? In the context of biology, why do you think water on Mars would matter?
Water is life.
Yeah, we can't have, as far as we know, you cannot have life without water, right? So even though we're studying biology, you might think of Earth when you think of biology, but sometimes it takes us to other planets and other places. Here's a good one. We'll come back to this later. Anybody tell what this person's doing at the bottom? Oops. The bottom right. Again, it's a little bit fuzzy, hard to see, but can you tell what that person's doing?
Fixing the channel on the bike.
Yeah, it's fixing a bike. And with the old textbook, the point they were making with that picture is that person was using the scientific method. Probably not on purpose, that guy's probably not like, all right, what's step one of the scientific method? Okay, check, I did that. What's step two, right? The person's probably not thinking, I'm going to do the scientific method. But the purpose is, or the idea here is, you are using the scientific method regularly. You might not think you are, but the logical way of thinking a lot of times is the scientific method. And we'll cover that in this chapter too. So anyway, obviously I'm not going to test you on any of that stuff. It's just an introduction. Same with this. I'm definitely not going to test you on any of this stuff, but this is a great topic for independent work. And remember, I'm giving you double the credit for independent work if you turn in a paper this week. So it's 20 points per page as opposed to 10 points per page. So you should at least write one paper. And remember, one paper could be a sentence or too long. If you don't like writing long papers, turn in a short paper. But anyway, here's a good topic. Why does biology matter to you, right? You specifically. Like, what is it about biology that might be interesting to you? Like, if you're a student athlete, obviously, as an athlete, you'd be interested in biology, specifically anatomy and physiology, right? How does your body work? What else? I don't know. Anybody else? Like, I don't know if you have a particular disease, or if a loved one you know has a particular disease. If you're going to learn about that disease, you need to learn about biology. So all the stuff you're going to learn in this semester, specifically, probably won't be that useful for you, but it's a good background knowledge, right? So later in your life, when you do need to know something about biology, you're not starting from scratch, right? So if some new disease comes up and some new vaccine comes out, and you're trying to decide, should I take this vaccine or not? Should I be worried about this disease or not? So you're going to go do your research, and when you do your research, you're not starting from scratch. This will be starting from scratch. I'm going to give you the information you're going to need to know to make those kind of decisions and do that kind of research. But anyway, I'll just read this really quickly. If you're interested in life, obviously biology would matter to you, because as you're going to learn later, biology is the scientific study of life. If you're just curious about the natural world, that describes me. Like, I love the camp. I love being outside, so that one's my bullet point. Obviously, life is relevant and important to you, no matter what your background goals are. If you like pets, right, that's biology. Fitness, that's biology. Zoos, hiking, gardening, all that stuff. Then there's some controversial stuff that people like to argue about. GMOs, vaccines, health in general, new diseases like COVID-19, right, climate change, all these things. Over the big one now, I need to update this. People like to talk about the difference between sex and gender, right? How many genders are there? How many sexes are there? All this stuff. This is all biology, right? So again, this course is going to give you the background information to form your own opinions, your own educated opinions. I mentioned that on Monday. I'm going to mention that again. I'm not here to tell you what to think. GMOs are safe, but I'm not here to convince you of that. I'm just going to give you the one eventually in the semester. I'm going to give you information about GMOs, and then you can decide if you think they're safe enough to eat or to grow or whatever. Anyway, as far as the exam is concerned, this is a very unimportant slide. I'm not going to ask you any questions about this, but again, I highly recommend writing some independent work papers. Someone already did, and I'm glad, because, and this is a good reminder for you too, to turn them in, you need to share them with me via Google Docs. So this person, luckily, they did it today or yesterday, and I sent it back and said, hey, you need to send this to me via Google Docs, so they can still get their 20 points per page as opposed to 10 points per page. Somebody in this room, I almost guarantee it, is going to wait until the due date at the end of the semester to turn in all their papers, and they're going to do it incorrectly because they hadn't had any practice through the semester, and then they're just going to be out of luck and get a 0. I don't want that, and I hope that doesn't happen, but statistically and historically, there's going to be at least one person who does that. Anyway, any questions about this slide? Let's move on to some more important stuff. These are the two sections. Man, that's hard to read. 2 sections of this chapter are themes and concepts of biology. Then we'll talk about the process of science. There we go. So learning objectives for this first portion are, you should be able to identify and describe the properties of life. After this, which is also a great independent work topic, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when we discuss it. You should be able to describe the levels of organization among living things, and you should be able to list examples of different sub-disciplines in biology. As far as the exam is concerned, these 2 first learning objectives are the most important, because I'm not going to ask you